For nothing, though, it's rare that I've been right this season about anything. I did call the breakout game for Jayden Daniels, so I feel like, I rode the Frank train to success.
That was something.
Jori, did you
I didn't
have a
expect
big
that
win?
day 3. I'll tell you that. Jayden Daniels. Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
Wait, Fitz, when did you call the Jayden Daniels breakout?
Yeah, when was this exactly? I don't really remember
I was asked
this.
to make a bold fantasy prediction on FFL on Sunday. And my bold fantasy prediction was that in a loss, so that part was wrong, but let's not get buried with details here. Jayden Daniels would have a breakout game, and it would include some throwing touchdowns as well. As I think, look, we didn't plan on this conversation, but I think it is worth noting Cliff Kingsbury's doing a really stinking good job just opening this offense like a flower for Jayden Daniels.
No, I think it's such a good point because when I look at the difference between Caleb Williams in Chicago and Jayden Daniels in Washington, there's several reasons that things are going a little bit differently for them. And I think some of that is the quarterback, some of that is the personnel group, and some of that is the coaching. And I feel like Washington has really allowed Jayden to come along gradually. And I know that Bengals cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt caught some heat after he said they're running a college offense and not asking Jayden to do much. But I think Aaron Rodgers talked about this as well with the Jets and kind of what he was doing when he was first coming back from his Achilles week 1 and 2. And you actually kind of want your offense to gradually progress over the weeks, especially if you're a rookie quarterback or you're coming back from injury. And I think that Washington has brought Jayden Daniels along really well. And this week was really an illustration of how much they trust his arm, how much they trust Terry McLaurin on the other side, and how much they trust just that cast around him, the offensive line protecting him. And all of that really comes back to Cliff Kingsbury calling the plays and designing these plays against the defense.
I just kind of feel like, and also completely true. I mean, I was kind of critical first couple of weeks that they were so conservative on offense and Jayden Daniels just throwing screen passes. But now as we sit here, they did open things up. That pass to Terry McLaurin that sealed the game was just unbelievable. He stood in, took the hit, and just delivered an absolute dime. Unbelievable. And I'm starting to wonder if Jayden Daniels is going to become the story of this entire season. And this season that's so up and down so far. Nobody's good. Nobody's really that bad either. We'll talk about that. But the one thing that stood out is this rookie quarterback is just awesome. I mean, 20 of 22 or whatever, 21, 23, whatever he ended up, just an unbelievable performance.
The record for most, for the highest completion 91%, percentage of rookie
that's
quarterbacks.
Unbelievable. I mean, to wit, like Scott Pianowski, our colleague on the fantasy side, put together a league. We wanted to draft after 3 weeks to kind of see what's different. And it's a super flex league, so you can play 2 quarterbacks. Jayden Daniels went 8th overall. Like, that's how much, like, he's just taken off and everybody is on board on this bandwagon. It's so fun to see. He's a fun player. He's multi-talented. And it just feels, I get this is such a lazy comparison, but it feels so much like RG3 in 2012, where he was such a huge story that season, except this is happening in like week 3. He's already arrived. Like, I just can't wait to watch Jayden Daniels play again. Like, that's how good he was on Monday night and how excited I am just for this just to see this guy's rookie season kind of unfold.
When Aaron Rodgers talked yesterday about Jayden Daniels, obviously Rodgers talks about a lot of things, but I really value what he says about quarterbacking across the league because he's been doing this at such a high level for such a long time. And he said what he loved about Jayden is just the way he hung in the pocket and really played from the pocket, and how if you want to last in this league for a long time, that's what you got to do. Because, yeah, there were absolutely some plays, if you go back and watch, that Jayden could have escaped. He's got great athleticism, great ability to run, or even just extend the plays and throw outside of structure, and he could have been successful, but that's not actually what you want to do in the long term. That's not actually what's best for the team over the course of the game. And so when you look at the Jayden to Terry McLaurin pass, for example, that was one where, yeah, he knew the guy was coming. Yeah, he could have tried to escape the big hit, and he didn't. And the other thing that Rodgers talked about was just that pass to Terry McLaurin toward the end. Like, Jayden is throwing that as Terry's kind of doing that stutter. He's throwing it way before. So when we see that accuracy, that's why I sometimes forget. Like, yeah, it looks like a dime. He dropped it right in the bucket. But it's not like he's throwing it when his guy is already there. He has to anticipate so much where Terry McLaurin is going to be while a guy is coming to hit him. And to have the poise and the arm talent, really. And when I went to Washington in June and sat down with Dan Quinn, he said, we view him as a dual threat quarterback, but a passer first. And I feel like this game plan really reflected that.
And one real quick thing, we haven't talked enough about Jayden Daniels' toughness. We always talk about, he's going to take too many hits. He doesn't slide. There were so many times in this game where he needed, like it was a 3rd and whatever, and he needs to run, and he does run, and he takes a hit. and he pops right back up. Or the play where he throws to McLaurin and he knows he's going to get blasted. He just pops right back up. We've talked so much about he needs a slide. He needs to protect himself. He needs to do this and that. For a guy who is 205, 210, whatever he is, he's a tough dude. I'm impressed with his toughness already. I don't know that he can last with this many hits, but I'm impressed with how he just keeps bouncing back up time and time again.
Standing in the pocket, delivering a really accurate ball, using his athleticism when he needs to, with a really efficient rookie season with a team that might surprise people. We are describing CJ Stroud and the Texans, right? Like, I know we want to make that happen every year, and that's really unlikely, but it does feel like some of the things that we love about CJ Stroud in his rookie year that translated to the pros are translating for Jayden as well. All right.